Let me ask you something honest. How many hours of sleep did you get last night? Four, five, maybe six if you were lucky. And then when you woke up this morning, did you feel rested? Or did you feel like you needed a quad shot of espresso just to face the day? What about on a scale of 1 to 10? Where's your energy most days? 10 being full of life, and 1 being that coffee doesn't even make a dent anymore. Where are you? Here's what I need you to understand. What you're experiencing isn't normal. And it's not just part of being a parent. Most parents wake up every morning checking these boxes: poor sleep, struggling to fall asleep, can't stay asleep, zero quality rest, digestive issues like heartburn and reflux, some bloating or constipation that just won't quit, exhaustion and brain fog, dead tired, can't think clearly, hard to focus, always sick with your immune system shot, stuck and inflamed, catching everything. Or maybe how about the anxiety or the chronic stress? Wound up, snapping at your kids or your spouse, completely overwhelmed. And here's the frustrating part: you've tried everything. Maybe you've done some functional medicine, the comprehensive labs, a GI map or a stool test, the hormone panels. You got a cabinet full of expensive supplements at home. Maybe you've tried the bioidentical hormones. You changed your diet up multiple times. You went keto, paleo, carnivore, gluten free, dairy free, eliminating everything. You done the detoxes, the juice cleanses, the water fasts. Maybe even invested in the med spa biohacking life with red light or infrared saunas and cold plunges. And some days are better than others. You might even have a good week where you think, finally, all of this is working, but then it crashes back. And you're still at 50% capacity on your good days. But on your bad days, you're barely holding it together on fumes and just sheer willpower. So when you go to that doctor, when you go to your specialist, your GP, what happens? They run the blood work, they maybe do a urinalysis, and they look at everything and they say everything's normal. Maybe you're just stressed. Have you tried relaxing? Maybe some yoga. Or if those things don't work, let's put you on some antidepressants. Or maybe even the functional medicine route finds some things like your thyroid might be off, your cortisol's too high, you're low in B12 or vitamin D, and then there's more supplements, more protocols, more things to track or remember to do every day. But here's the problem: they're looking at the chemistry, they're looking at the hormones and the neurotransmitters and the nutrient levels. Nobody's looking at what controls all of that, though. Your blood work might look normal because conventional testing barely scratches the surface, or even the functional labs may show some imbalances, but they can't tell you why those imbalances keep happening, no matter how many supplements that you're throwing at it, because they're not measuring what's happening within the nervous system itself. And almost nobody, not your kid's pediatrician, not your GP, not even the functional medicine providers, they're not checking the one system that then controls and coordinates everything. So the nervous system is the air traffic control center for the entire body. And when air traffic control works, planes take off smoothly. They land smoothly, right? They look at weather patterns to make a pivot if they need to. But when things are overloaded or malfunctioning or there's no communication, right? Everything starts backing up. They breaking down. We got wait times, all of the things. If you're flying out of Hobby or IAH, you know this way too well, right? So let me explain how it's supposed to work. When we're thinking about our nervous system, I want to make it simple. There's two sides. We have our gas pedal. This is the sympathetic fight or flight nervous system. It activates for stress. It increases our heart rate. It diverts blood from our digestive organs to our muscles, and it puts us in fight or flight, right? It's designed to keep you alive in danger. On the flip side, we have the brake pedal. This is the parasympathetic, the rest, digest, sleep side of the nervous system. And it's mostly controlled by what's called our vagus nerve. So this parasympathetic is the rest, digest, regulate. So when your body heals, it recovers, it recharges, that's mostly the parasympathetic. When digestion works, the immune system strengthens, hormones start to balance, and you're sleeping deeply, That's the parasympathetic brake pedal on board. Now, our gas pedal and the brake pedal should work together. Gas when you need it, right? Like a workout or things get kind of stressful, you need to get focused, or something significant, you're driving on I-10, white knuckling, right? We need that gas pedal to turn on. We need that survival mode to sharpen our focus. But we also need the brake pedal to turn on when we don't need that, right? When we're sitting at home watching The Office or Love Island or whatever it is that you watch and tickles your fancy. We need the balance. And that part of it, truly, that's health. But modern parenting has created the perfect storm. And honestly, it started before your kids were born. There's fertility challenges, high stress pregnancy, traumatic birth, right? Like an emergency C section, interventions that you didn't plan for. Your nervous system went through massive stress and never recovered. And then the real work began, right? The chronic sleep deprivation, the postpartum periods, not just one bad night, but months or years of interrupted sleep. The nervous system never completes those sleep cycles, it never completely heals. Then you have constant hypervigilance, always listening for the monitor, watching for danger, always on high alert with every conversation with your spouse. The sympathetic system is activated 24/7. But let's not even talk about the physical demands, right? Carrying our kids, nursing, bending over the crib hundreds of times daily, right? Changing diapers and the body positions that you have to get in to feed these little babies on top of, like, all the other physical things, right? Especially when you're over 30 and you fall asleep on the couch or you end up sleeping the wrong way and everything feels like it's broken. And then there's working out on top of all of that, right? How are we supposed to rest, recover, regulate from all of that? The stress accumulates within the nervous system, within the neurospinal system. And then we add everything else, right? Work stress, managing the household, calendars and therapies and events and family, right? The mental load that never truly ends, the relationship strain, the financial pressure, maybe caring for aging parents too. Your nervous system has been in survival mode for years. The gas pedal is literally stuck down and there's no brake. But here's the thing, the nervous system doesn't distinguish between life threatening danger and chronic daily stress. A toddler meltdown in Target triggers the same response as being triggered or chased by a bear, right? Internally. We can't decipher what's real and what's thought of, right? Because it's the same stress. It's the same stress hormones. It's the same fight or flight response. But when does the brake pedal work? Maybe a few minutes after the kids go to sleep, but you're so dang wired that you can't actually relax. You scroll through your phone, getting all the blue light and 5G and dopamine hits just trying to compress, right? When the nervous system gets stuck, the gas pedal is always pressed, the brake pedal is barely functioning. It creates nervous system dysregulation and what's called dysautonomia. Now, this is the hidden in plain sight root cause that doesn't show up on blood work. And this is what your doctors or your functional medicine provider or your GP or whoever it is completely missing. And living with dysregulation looks like being wound up and worn out at the same time. Anxiety and depressed, both together. Burning through the body's resources, stuck in survival mode, completely exhausted, but you can't downshift to rest. You're exhausted, but you can't sleep. The body's screaming for rest, but the nervous system won't let you shift into a relaxed state. It's wired and tired, anxious but can't focus. The mind's racing with worry, but you can't concentrate because the nervous system's constantly scanning for threats. Not to mention the digestive and immune chaos. When your body thinks that it's running from danger and it's shutting down digestion and immune function, right? But now you're bloated, you're constipated, you're sick all the time, oftentimes just as much as your kids are. We're emotionally dysregulated. There's a shorter fuse because there's no buffer capacity to handle it. Fighting with your spouse, yelling at your kids when you don't want to. Our hormones won't balance because chronic stress disrupts the thyroid. It increases cortisol. It tanks our sex hormones. And all the treatments in the world aren't working because they're not addressing the root. They're addressing the output. So what's causing all of this? In chiropractic, we talk about stress stuck on the body, stress stuck onto the nervous system, aka subluxation. I don't care if you ever remember that S word, but stress stuck onto the nervous system, creating the interference. Stuck stress patterns within the nervous system that are disrupting the brain and body communication. The chronic tension that's reducing the ability to adapt, keeping you locked into survival mode and inactive. And when stress and subluxation occurs, everything, all the body, the entire nervous system shifts into sympathetic overdrive, that gas pedal getting stuck on. And the vagus nerve, which is our key like brake pedal, and the parasympathetic side gets suppressed and shut down. The nervous system accepts the tension, the exhaustion, the illness as normal. So your ability to regulate and respond to stress becomes compromised. And this is why you can eat right, you can take all of the supplements, you do yoga, you see therapists, maybe you cold plunge a little bit, and you still feel terrible. That master control system coordinating everything within the body is being interfered with. It's kind of like remodeling a house with a cracked foundation because you can paint the walls, buy new furniture, update and renovate the kitchen, but if you don't fix the foundation, none of that stuff matters, right? The doors won't close, the cracks keep appearing. The whole house sits like this, water's running down, balls all over the place. You get it if you have kids, right? The nervous system is that foundation. And the answer isn't adding more to your plate, not more supplements or therapies or cold plunging, right? It's addressing that foundation. So repairing nervous system dysfunction at its root. That's what neurologically focused chiropractic care does. This isn't just back cracking for pain relief, right? It's completely different. And so, one of the things that we do different is we use the insight scans to objectively measure where the nervous system is stuck in that sympathetic gas mode. And then we see the stress and tension patterns and the lack of adaptability with the precise neurometrics, right? The thermal, heart rate variability, if you're like a Whoop, a Garmin, an Aura person, and then what's called surface EMG. And from there, then we use specific chiropractic care and an adjusting protocol to release the stress and subluxation, to restore that parasympathetic rest, digest, brake pedal function, and help the vagus nerve actually work again. And as the nervous system then shifts out of survival mode, sleep starts to improve. You can actually downshift at night. You fall asleep easier, you stay asleep, and you wake up rested. Digestion starts to come back. Blood flow's coming back to the gut. The parasympathetic system starts actually turning on and functioning, so your bloating decreases. The constipation resolves. And then your immune system strengthens because you stop suppressing it with chronic stress and you stop getting sick constantly. But even better, you become emotionally regulated. The buffer, the bandwidth starts to return. You can handle that tantrum at Target without losing it. You have patience for your kids, your patience for your spouse. Your energy starts increasing because you're not burning through every single resource just to maintain survival. And you can play with your kids. You can be present with them. You can hit those workouts that you've been telling yourself since January 1st that you're going to start doing. And then the hormones start balancing naturally because stress is decreasing and your body can finally use the support, the energy, the resources that you've been giving it. And this is something that's so dang critical that I teach to parents all the time is that your children don't just need you to be present. They need you to be regulated. Kids borrow calm from your nervous system before they can create their own. This is what's called co-regulation. And when you're dysregulated, they feel it, they respond to it, and they mirror it. They learn how to regulate from you. But when your nervous system becomes balanced, your kids regulate more easily because they see it in you and everything feels lighter for the whole dang family. And you deserve to feel good in your own body again. Not just someday when the kids are older, not when life slows down, because we both know that it's not, but right now. And caring for your nervous system isn't selfish. It's the foundation for that co regulation, for resilience, for patience, and for energy, for actually enjoying your life instead of just surviving through it. So check the link in our bio to watch our free Stressed Out Parents webinar or DM us watch and we'll send you the direct link. Learn why you're so depleted, how to get off of that gas pedal and find out where real healing actually begins. Because calmer parents don't come from just trying harder. They come from a regulated nervous system.